Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us across the fence. I'm Fran Stoddard. Takes some imagination to guess what possessed two professional classical musicians to move to central Vermont and start a community-supported chamber music series that offers performances in barns and churches, all-purpose rooms, and funky music venues. How lucky we are that they did. Founders and artistic directors Evan Primo and Mary Bonhag began Scrag Mountain Music 10 years ago with an innovative approach and exceptional musicianship that has garnered a broad audience. I am delighted that one half of that dynamic duo, Evan Primo, a composer and double bass player, is joining me today to tell us more about Scrag Mountain Music. So great to have you here.
Thanks, Fran. Happy to be here.
Yeah. So, you know, typically professional musicians usually settle in big cities, you know, for very practical reasons. So what drove you and Mary to decide to settle in rural Vermont?
Well, it started as a bit of an experiment, I suppose. We were both around the New York City area doing a fellowship and graduate work, and got this idea that maybe we could make this work, because it was really the place we wanted to live. It was a place we wanted to raise a family and be inspired. So we came up as a bit of an experiment, started Scrag Mountain Music and making music from this wonderful place. And it very quickly became a reality that we are just so happy to be here.
Wow, so you made it. So what were the challenges and how did you overcome them?
Well, I think one main challenge is that we still have to travel a lot for much of our music making. And that can put a strain on the routine of schedule, especially with two young boys and all of those things. And so there's that, and but it's worth it.
It's worth it.
Yeah.
So tell us about the benefits of being here. Why is it worth it?
Well,
what
kind
works?
of pure inspiration, I would say. In music making, I'm also a composer, and much of the inspiration for my music, I think, comes from the natural beauty of this place. And then there's this fantastic community of people who are just so hungry for beautiful art of all kinds, including music, and there's such a wonderful audience for us.
So why don't you describe Scrag Mountain Music?
Sure. Well, Scrag Mountain Music is a residency-based chamber music series, which means we bring in musicians from all over the country, including Vermont, and basically live together and eat together and rehearse music for a week together, putting this program together that will then be presented in the community in these venues like you mentioned over the weekend with 3 or 4 concerts. But I think the important part of that is the fact that we're rehearsing the program in this place, so it's kind of infused with the essence of Vermont in a way, whether or not the music is specifically about Vermont, and which sometimes it is. But that rehearsal process here, and while being nourished by Vermont food, and sometimes inviting our audiences into our house for open rehearsals and a potluck.
Wow. And the musicians must love it. So the diversity of your programming is impressive. It mixes up contemporary, classical, early music, some interesting instrumental. So I want to just take a look and listen at one of your more traditional offerings, which is a George Friedrich Handel cantata.
Cupid's very strange. Cupid's very strange.
Okay, and that's Mary. That is
Yes.
your wife and partner. Singing. She's a soprano and you're a bass player. Not that easy to necessarily find a lot of music with a soprano and a bass.
Since we've known each other, we've figured out a way to make music together. And at first, a lot of that was just as a duo, and I wrote a lot of music for the two of us. And we still do that, but over time we've invited a lot of friends into that too, and do a lot of mixed chamber music, vocal chamber music that includes bass.
That's awesome. So beginning last year, Scrag Mountain dedicated a week of music for children and families, and really for all ages.
Right.
And in February, you'll be presenting musical storytelling for all, and you've even composed a piece to Thumbelina, a story many people know. So tell us just a little bit about that series, and we'll see.
Yeah.
something.
Well, we bring all of our programs into schools, at least one school, sometime during that rehearsal week. And that's an important part of what we do by creating an interactive performance for students. And then, starting last year, we wanted to do a more dedicated week, concerts, community concerts that are really family-friendly times. Kids are welcome to all of our concerts, but sometimes it's harder in the evening concerts. So this family programming, the idea is to create a program that is really engaging for kids, but every bit as engaging for adults.
Great. Let's take a look at
Yeah.
The Ugly Duckling.
From last year?
From last
Yeah.
year.
Curious, the duckling cautiously crept inside the creek, leaking hut. In the room lived an old woman with her tomcat and her hen. Now the cat was the master of the house, while the hen was the mistress. So this hen looked the duckling over to see what she would make of this unfortunate creature. Can you purr? She said.
No.
He admitted. Can't lay eggs, I suppose. I didn't think so.
Oh, you're engaged. That's great. You know, one of the most interesting projects, you do many, but was a lullaby work you did with the Lund family. So tell us about that.
Yeah, we have been wanting to do this for a while. Carnegie Hall in New York City has an amazing project called the Lullaby Project. And they do the work in the city, but then have satellite partners all over the world that do this work. And the idea is to bring musicians into various places with young mothers or mothers soon to be to help them write lullabies for their children, for their babies.
Wow.
And it's really rewarding work. Such a joy to create this thing that will hopefully live on in that family.
Forever. And be passed on.
To be passed on and be very personal to the parent's situation.
Yeah, what a wonderful project. So just to make sure we get to all the clips,
Yeah.
Scrag Mountain also presents contemporary music by living composers, including you, but in a really accessible way. What do you suggest viewers listen for in this next clip of more modern?
Yeah, this is a piece by Evan Chambers, a string trio. And Evan is a Michigan composer and has a lot of different influences. He's a fiddler himself, but I think this piece I hear a lot of funk in the accompaniment part, but also kind of this crazy Jimi Hendrix style electric guitar solo in the violin part. So I think you'll hear some of those influences in this.
Okay, let's take a look. these different venues, diverse audiences you're looking for, and it's also, you know, come as you are, pay what you can is a motto for you. So a little bit about where you play and how you're set up.
Well, that come as you are, pay what you can has been our motto since the very beginning 10 years ago. And the come as you are part really means you're welcome here no matter what experience you have inside classical music. It's for you. It's for everybody. And we're not going to just leave you in the dark. We'll give you some entry points into the music that we're playing so that you can have a fulfilling experience with it.
And you interact with the audience.
Absolutely.
You really talk about what's going on and have fun with them.
And that's important. And that's part of getting the audience to think like the composer of the piece, or think like us as performers, or different tools to think as audience members.
Okay, I want to make sure people know how to find you and find out more and find out what's coming up with Scrag Mountain Music. It's www.scragmountainmusic, all written out, .org, or by calling 802-377-3161. Thank you so much, Evan Prevost of Scrag Mountain Music, for coming in and describing a little bit of that.
Pleasure to be here, Fran.
And good luck to you and your whole series.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us across the fence. I'm Fran Stoddard.